About Team Contact PR Contact sponsors books thanks to a number of new hepatitis C drugs, sofosbuvir, lenacapavir, latosbavir. The disease is curable for many patients. While this is an undeniable victory for patients and payers, the innovators who made this possible have been villainized and undermined, at a time when the public health community should celebrate the tremendous health benefits these breakthrough drugs have brought to patients around the world. They are instead organizing to ensure the destruction of the incentives that made these drugs a reality. A recent study from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention estimates that 2% to 3% of the world's population is living with hepatitis C. The World Health Organization states that, globally, an estimated 71 million people have chronic hepatitis C infection and approximately 399,000 people die each year from the disease. First, the good news: Sovaldi, sofosbuvir, drastically changed the landscape of this disease for patients and payers. Therapeutic regimens have evolved rapidly in the past few years, providing patients suffering with hepatitis C with improved treatment options and delivering significant cost savings to individuals, payers and society. Gilead's Sovaldi is a safe, effective treatment that demonstrably adds value to the healthcare system and transforms patients' lives with a cure for the disease. In approximately 95% of all cases, Sovaldi is safer, more effective, and accompanied by fewer side effects than existing first-line treatments. Notably, the previous standard of care, Incivek, costs roughly 20% more than Sovaldi. Moreover, reports indicate that when combined with two other drugs, interferon and ribavirin, Incivek claims a cure rate of no more than 80% through a 24-week treatment regimen that included significant toxicity and side effects. As noted in an earlier IP Watchdog post, Sovaldi also has the potential to save money and lives in the long run. Hepatitis C may result in conditions that are much more expensive to treat: liver cancer, cirrhosis and liver failure, with a cure rate close to 95% and a treatment time of half that required by current therapies. Sovaldi seems very cost-effective. In contrast, studies show that liver transplants can cost $300,000 and then require $40,000 per year. Anti-rejection drugs that must be taken for the rest of the patient's life. Such long-term savings are only possible through breakthrough innovations that fundamentally change the healthcare system. Weakening the patent system for modest short-term cost savings will only eliminate the incentives that encourage the investment and risk-taking that deliver the monumental healthcare gains that revolutionize treatment options and transform patient lives. It is a trade-off that should be eschewed rather than sought after. Second, the bad news: while such innovation should be celebrated, rewarded and emulated, instead critics celebrate the dismantling of the intellectual property rights that made the innovation possible. Ironically, it appears that the critics are never happy. Critics of the pharmaceutical industry frequently denounce the resources spent for so-called follow-on innovation, incremental advances, insisting that the industry should focus on truly innovative drugs that significantly enhance or extend life. Ironically, Sovaldi does exactly what patient advocates and industry critics have been asking for, but instead of acknowledging this as a success, the company has been vilified for their pricing decision. Fundamentally, this is an issue of price and access. While drugs, including hepatitis C drugs, are expensive, it is difficult to justify the criticism heaped upon the hepatitis C innovators. In early 2016, the Chicago Tribune published an article on Sovaldi titled, "The Same Pill That Costs $1,000 in the U.S. sells for $4 in India." At first glance, this appears to readers as appalling. However, the numbers only tell part of the story. Let's dig a little deeper. The drug costs $1,000 in the US but only $4 in India, a price differential that strikes US consumers as inconceivable. At the same time, global critics claim that Sovaldi is unaffordable to patients in middle-income countries. The World Bank classifies India as a lower middle-income country. Now for some perspective, Sovaldi sells for only 3.6% of the income-adjusted price, $110 in India. Per capita income in the United States is $58,700 and $6,490 PPP adjusted for 2016. In India, that is, while adjusting for income differentials relative to the United States, the drug is sold at a 96.4% discount in India. Now, the worst news: the development and pricing of hepatitis C drugs has re-energized the global fight over biopharmaceutical patents. As a result, the innovators who have delivered an incredible drug and amazing hope to patients are under tremendous attack. The efforts are expansive and extend to IP rights as numerous countries. Please consider, as noted in the international science journal, Nature, in February 2017 alone, no less than 5 suits were filed in India and Argentina claiming that the treatments for hepatitis C do not warrant the 20-year patent monopoly that manufacturers have sought in those countries. In December 2017, the National Institute of Industrial Property (INPI) of Argentina rejected a patent application on the sofosbuvir Sovaldi prodrug, an essential medicine in the treatment of hepatitis C. The decision opens the door to local production of generic versions of the drug and was described as a major victory for patients. In the short run, this may be true. The decision may increase access to generics, but in reality, the decision undermines the incentive to innovate and frustrates the development of future treatments and cures. The decision in Argentina is symptomatic of a frightening trend, the undermining of the patent system and destruction of the incentives to innovate. In March 2018, Chile's Ministry of Health announced that there are sufficient public health reasons to support a compulsory license on medicines for the hepatitis C virus and presented a resolution taking the next step. In January 2018, the Colombian government moved to unilaterally lower the prices of hepatitis C drugs or, eventually, issue compulsory licenses. Importantly, the move could jeopardize the efforts of the Colombian government to join the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development (OECD), an intergovernmental group of 36 countries that was created to stimulate economic progress and world trade. In August 2017, Malaysia's government issued a compulsory license in an effort to offer a less expensive version of Gilead's hepatitis C drug and increase access. An October 2017 report by Bloomberg, and here in the New York Times, notes that Initiative for Medicines Access. These nations should be celebrating the discovery of Sovaldi and other revolutionary hepatitis C treatments, rather than advocating for the destruction of the incentives that made them possible. The biopharmaceutical companies that develop life-saving medications, cures, and compounds that transform lives, should be rewarded with favorable pricing and the provision of incentives that facilitate future innovation. In their absence, biopharmaceutical research and development will continue to contract and fewer such breakthroughs will be discovered. Christina M. Lacrene-Becker is an associate professor of economics at Colorado College in Colorado Springs, and chair of the Department of Economics and Business. She earned a B.A. from Macalester College, with a double major in economics and Latin American studies, and received her Ph.D. in economics in 2000 from the University of California, Berkeley. Dr. ACRI's research analyzes the challenges surrounding intellectual property rights protection in innovative industries, incentivizing pharmaceutical research and development especially on neglected diseases, addressing the difficulties of strengthening intellectual property rights protection in developing countries, battling the problems related to pharmaceutical counterfeiting and the unique nature of protection for biotech therapies. Recent publications have also addressed alternatives to the existing patent system, the balance between pharmaceutical patent protection and access to essential medicines, and the markets for jointly produced goods such as blood and blood products. Christina has testified in more than a dozen states on the economics of pharmaceutical counterfeiting. She has also worked with U.S. Food and Drug Administration, Reconnaissance International, PHRMA, the National Peace Foundation, the OECD, the Fraser Institute, the Macdonald-Laurier Institute, and the World Bank, on issues of innovation, international trade, and corruption. The articles published express the personal opinion and views of the author and should not be attributed to the author's employer. Clients are the sponsors of IPWatchdog.com.